Alright, hello everybody. It's been 2 months since the last video. Sorry about that. I've just been a little disinterested in the game itself, but with the newest update I'm coming back a little bit. I've been putting in some hours. I'm working on getting to level 70 and stuff. The last video I made was the tier list video, and that video did really good, so I'm gonna do it again, because two heroes have been released since that video came out. One of them isn't. This is like the best I can get when it comes to an image. I just took a screenshot, but when they do, or the Tower Heroes wiki that is, gets a transparent PNG, then I will use that one instead. But for the time being, this is it. Anyway, the tier list here will be linked in the description as per usual. So it's mine, by the way. I made this. I am proud. Not really. It's just pictures. Anyway, so starting off already, because I don't want this to be 20 minutes like the last recording. We have Beepo. Beepo's okay. I don't know. Well, I mean, compared to like all the other range towers, he's kind of bad because all he is just a weak kind of like weaker wizard, but technically has more range. He's weird. He's probably one of the most unique towers in the game. I know people use him sometimes, but honestly, I just don't see why you wouldn't use something like branch or fracture or anything else. But as it stands, he's okay. Next up, we got Fracture. My opinions have changed on him a bit, but I put him in the A tier. He does very good damage, has very good range, but ever since they increased like the radius of where towers can be placed around him, I have been using him less, and also with the new release of Branch, I've been kind of using him more. So yeah, but still a good range tower. He's very good. I think anyone can use him in their kit, probably. So I'm gonna put him in the A tier, not a B, nowhere close to a B. So because I still sometimes use him, and I still have him on my shoulder because he's a very cute tower. I love him. Next up we have Bunny. I don't have Bunny, but I might get him someday. So but if, from what I've heard about Bunny, I might put him in the B or the A tier if I did have him. But I'm not going to say that now because I don't actually have the tower. But from what I've heard, he's just kind of like a better wizard, but not by much. But you can place a lot of him, so that's kind of the good part. And he's probably good in solos. But anyway, moving on. We have Bite. I don't use Bite very often, but I actually, you know what? No. I'm going to put him in the S tier. I just remembered. I didn't use him for that often, but until recently, and that's why I just remembered that I actually really like using Bite now, because Bite is such a crucial tower sometimes. Those few seconds he gives you against bosses, like stunning them and slowing them down and stuff like that, can make or break your game. Like, if it wasn't for this little guy, I would have never gotten Haze, because I didn't win Halloween Havoc until I put him in my kit. So, yeah, Bite is going to be a tower I put on and off in my kit. I don't know if I'm going to keep him in my kit forever, but for right now, he is in my kit. Next up, we got Chef. B. I don't use short range towers that much, but he is probably the best out of all the short range towers, minus one exception, and that's kind of Dumpster Child, but we'll get into that in a second. Very good damage output, very low cooldown, definitely has a place in the meta, and I can see why a lot of people use him. I just don't personally use melee towers all that often. And as for Dumpster Child, I have to apologize to him because last time I said Maitake was like, or Maitake, Maitake, whatever, I don't care, was a better early wave defender, and that's just not true. Maitake might be like better later on in the game, but Dumpster Child definitely is better at early wave defending because he's better at focusing on more than one target in the early levels. But I feel like Dumpster Child after like wave 20 becomes somewhat obsolete because at that point you already have fairly decent defenses, and he honestly doesn't do as much damage as some of the other towers, but he does have a special place in solos because you kind of need him to grind on certain maps like Volcano Valley by yourself. So I'm going to put him in the A tier, and I'm going to apologize to him for the last video because I was a little mean to him. But I used to have him in my kit, but I don't anymore. Next up is Hot Dog Frank. I like Hot Dog Frank. He's fairly cool. in terms of design, I like him. He's cool design-wise, but everything else, I don't like him. I don't like melee heroes as it is, but honestly, he's just a worse chef. He's a slower, slightly longer range, and technically is a little better with area damage, but that's really about it. That's all he really has got going for him, and honestly, I'd just rather use chef if I had to. I was too nice to you in the last video, Jester. I'm sorry, you're getting that F tier. Let's go. Anyway, why did I say that? Um, so the reason I'm putting Jester here is because he's just inconsistent. And I know that's the point, but I just don't really like how I had to spend so much time on Chaos Kingdom to even get him. Like, it took me, like, if I remember right, since I was somewhat new to the game at the time, this was before they had the level limits and stuff. Jester is fair. It took me about 10 times, maybe 11. I don't remember. It took me and my friends a lot to even get him, and that was it was just not worth it. He's just not really worth my time. Like, his design's really cool. I like how he looks. He's just a bastard child, and I love it. And he's great, but like the stuff that he does doesn't even affect me that much. Like I never notice like what he does until he gets a jackpot, and when the most interesting part about your character only happens like 2% of the time you're in existence, it just I just don't like it. And like, sure, yeah, he can summon like friends and stuff like Slime King and Cart Kid, but I'd rather have towers that are more consistent when it comes to summoning towers instead of one that just sometimes summons towers. And sometimes he can even hurt your own little buddies, so like he's even worse in that regard. But I will give him something. He's so good. He's so bad. He's good. That's what I meant to say. I'm stupid. Like, he's interesting to use. He can be fun to use sometimes. But that's all he really has. That's all he really is. I guess F is for fun in this case because that's literally everything to his character. He's just fun and nothing else. Not viable in any way, but he's just fun. Anyway, moving on. We got Cart Kid and Slime King. They're good summoners. That's all I really have to say. They're about equals. Um, I don't really use summoners, but if I had to, I would probably pick Cart Kid because I like his design a little more. Moving on, we have Lemoncat, essential for any kit in my opinion, because like, I don't know, I just think she's essential because she gives you extra mana that you might not have and stuff. The only downside is that you have to spend a lot of your money upgrading the Lemoncats, but I think it's a worth it investment, to be honest. Moving on, we have Scientist, a staple in Tower Heroes meta. She has very good range, rapid fire, and overall, it's just a solid tower to have. Has, I think, the second highest range in the game. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. She has the second highest range in the game. Very high rapid fire stat, and overall it's just a really good tower. Spectre, I say Spectre, not Spectre, because that's how I mispronounced it when I started playing the game. And honestly, I just been kind of saying Spectre ever since I started playing, so it's just kind of stuck with me. So I apologize if you get angry at that. Please don't. Anyway, Spectre is really cute, and I like him, and he's really helpful because he makes my towers cheaper and makes them stronger, and he isn't even that much to upgrade. Like, sure, yeah, he's pretty expensive to upgrade, but I mean, like, you're upgrading something that makes your other towers cheaper, so I think it's a worthwhile investment, and he has a very big place in the meta. I feel like some bosses would be impossible without even, like, if you don't have one Spectre, you're screwed on some of the maps. Voca is getting the B tier. Actually, yeah, Voca's getting the B. No, fine, A tier. I'll be nice to her, but she gets an A minus. Has the most range in the game. She has the most range in the game, that's for sure. And it's a very special attribute about her, and she can be useful, but the only downside I have with her is that she's so slow when it comes to firing her shots, and that she just struggles with faster enemies all the time, and her splash damage is nothing to write home about. She's just kind of, she's good. She's better than some of the other range towers like Beepo and Wizard, but that's all she really has going for her. She's not better than Fracture or Scientist, but she's just as good. If you need extra DPS, I guess you can use her. But that's all I really have to say about her. Next up, we have Wizard. You're getting the D tier. Um, very low damage, nothing special about him. He's the first tower you get, but honestly, I don't really see that as much of an excuse because I mean, Chef is one of the starting towers you get, and he's more solid than Wizard because he actually has something unique about him and has one of the highest damage outputs compared to any of the other towers, when Wizard over here has one of the lowest damage outputs, nothing special to him at all, and one of the lowest ranges when it comes to the ranged towers. I'm pretty sure he has less range than Beepo, but I don't know for sure, and I'm not fact checking that right now. But yeah, Wizard's just eh. Next up, we have Maitake. You're going in the S tier. I feel like she has very good crowd control. One of the best status actually the best status tower in the entire game, minus I guess technically Bite, because Bite's status effect is more huge than Maitake's. But Maitake is very good at crowd control because she can kill so many enemies at once with her poison damage. Um, I also tend to like poison more than fire and radioactive because I'm pretty sure that it lasts longer. If it doesn't, correct me in the comments if you want. But it lasts longer, and overall, I just think it's a better status ailment. But maybe combined with Dumpster Child's radioactive and fire, you could have some crazy comp with that. Next up, we have Branch. Branch has replaced Fracture's slot in my kit. Let me put you here because I don't use you anymore, but I'm going to put you in the S tier anyway. Branch has replaced Fracture for me. Sure, the only thing that like I like more about him is that I can basically he just has a lower radius around him where you can't place towers and stuff. I can squeeze him in right next to towers more than I can with Fracture, meaning I can just place as many as I want wherever I want without having to worry about like, oh shit, am I gonna have enough room to put another one next to him, because he's a small boy. And also, he doesn't have a ridiculously big radius around him where you can't place towers like the Fracture does now. And next up, we have my favorite summoner in the game, Haze. Probably one of the most unique towers in the game. A weird mix between, like, a ranged tower, a summoner, and just overall, just a really cool addition to the roster. I use him on and off. I replaced him with Bite recently, but I still use him, and I think he's the best summoner in the game. But that might wear off when the novelty of like his gimmick goes out. But I still think that like he's a super helpful tower, and instead of having to be restricted to a certain pathway like the other summoners do, he can attack any enemy at once. But the only drawback is that the crows sometimes can't keep up with certain enemies, especially some of the ones on Halloween Havoc. But with that being said, this is my tier list. I hope I don't make anyone too mad in this video. I'm just letting you know that, like, these aren't my fully articulated opinions. If I did more research and, like, considered everything before this tier list, this would be a more accurate depiction of my opinion. But since I'm just kind of doing this blindly, this isn't going to be the most constructed version of my opinion. But if you have any opinions you want to share with me, leave them down in the comments, and I might respond to you. I don't know. I probably will be lazy. Anyway, I hope that I can actually start making videos again, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. Peace.